It's the finals of the UEFA Champions League between Manchester City and Chelsea. You'd call it a perfect matchup between Pep Guardiola and Thomas Tuchel. Welcome to the show, the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. My name is Solomon Fowowe. It's really exciting to have you guys join us on the show today. If you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, kindly make sure you do so. If you're watching on, say, Facebook or Instagram, make sure you follow and you like this page. Yes. So joining me on the show today, definitely we brought in the best of the best for this particular one. It's the UEFA Champions League finals weekend. It has to be the best. Joining me on the show today is a sports journalist, Yemi Adesanya. It's great to have you join us on the show today, Yemi.
Thank you, Solomon, for having me on your show again. How are you doing?
Now, I would have gotten a bit of, talk or context or your reaction exactly on things that happen in the UEFA Europa League final between Manchester United and Villarreal, knowing that you're a Manchester United fan. But I know you're probably smarting from that defeat, and we have to talk about the bigger thing. The bigger thing being the UEFA Champions League finals this weekend. And my first question to you, in the preview today would be that these two sides or these two managers, that's Pep Guardiola and Thomas Tuchel, they are well versed when it comes to the tactical side of things, and there are people that you can actually call obsessive, perfectionist when it comes to laying down things and structuring sides in football. So how do you see the tactical battle shaping up in this particular one between Manchester City and Chelsea?
If I were to start with, I would say somehow I think Tuchel has kind of gotten into Pep's head in a way, and why am I saying so? Since Tuchel came in, they played twice, and City have lost those two games to Chelsea. And then, interestingly, in the last game they played, Pep did something a little bit strange, tried to mirror what Chelsea were trying to do in terms of the setup and the formation that he put out, which is he went with the back three as well as Chelsea did. Not that he hasn't played the back three before; he has done that several times. But more often than not, this season is more or less going with the flat back four. So it was interesting to see him trying to mirror what Tuchel was doing. But the interesting thing is that it'll be good to see how much control whichever one can have in this game, because two of them are probably a bit obsessive about having control in games. So that's where I feel the tipping point is. Who exerts more control might be the one to edge it. Now, of course, there's a confusion with Pep with respect to how he sets up. Does he play with a striker? Does he play with a false nine? Those are the intricacies involved with Pep Guardiola. On the other hand, with Chelsea, you are more or less certain that they'll probably start with Timo Werner and, probably have Kai Havertz being the support cast, and then Mr. Mount seems to have a very important role in this Chelsea side. So it'll be interesting to see how both of them approach, but I think somehow Tuchel has kind of gotten into Pep's head.
Oh, interesting when you put it that way. And my follow-up question will be, Chelsea has won the last 2 games between themselves and Manchester City. And, Thomas Tuchel, some would say he has figured out a way to defeat Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. Do you think this is the case? And, my other question would be, do you think that game that they won, the last one, has an effect psychologically on the Chelsea side coming into this fixture?
I would have said yes, but the situation towards the end of the season for Chelsea probably changes the complexion of things. And what am I saying? So they lost to Arsenal, lost to Leicester in the FA Cup, lost to Villa in the last game of the season. And like it or not, when a team is going into a final of potentially poor form, it has a way of affecting the manager's reasoning and his planning going into a cup final, because he's trying to psychologically, change the mindset of the players. So if Chelsea had gotten to this final on a good run, then maybe you say that victory would have a role on how they perform. But I'm not sure. I think this is a level playing field. Forget about what's happened before. Let's just go in there and try and get a result. I think that's what will happen.
Now, City is the more informed side, coming into this game. They won the EPL, but it's more in the part of Chelsea. Actually, they lost their last game to Aston Villa, and also they lost in the finals against Leicester City. So my question would be, it's really easy for Pep. Some will think. Do you think Pep would, overthink this one, as many people like to say, heading into this tie? Do you think Pep will pull through when it comes to, winning this tie?
I see overthinking from both of them because, like you said, that they are both perfectionists. So I kind of think there will be a bit of overthinking, and that's why I'm worried that this final might be a bit of an anticlimax, because you have two guys who are going to be looking to tinker. How am I going to edge this guy? How am I going to outsmart him here? Am I, trying to make arrangements, scenarios, put some scenarios for everything that comes up. So I think the overthinking part will be from both of them, not from Pep.
Pep is a storied manager, an absolute legend in his own right. Do you think, he winning the Champions League this season with Manchester City, what everyone has set as a gold standard for him, this season, do you think it affects his legacy or it improves his legacy, as a manager in football?
Depending on which side of the divide you follow, those who've won the Champions League with multiple teams is an exclusive class, right? And you like it or not, for those who don't like Pep, the fact that he hasn't won it anywhere else aside Barcelona continues to be a point of reference for them to criticize him. However, if he does win at Manchester City, it will definitely elevate him as, in the class of, one of the greatest managers of all time, because the work that they've had to do from scratch, stumbling at certain points, coming up, and then being able to get this far. And of course, the pathway, and I always talk about the pathway for clubs to get to this point. And I firmly believe that for you to join the European elite, you need to pay your dues. And I think somehow City have gradually been paying their dues. And so if they win on Saturday, you won't be able to begrudge them, because yes, they followed the face, they've come through, that pathway. And if they win, it's a huge plus for Pep. And then I'm sure after he does that, he will then start thinking of what is his next move. And that's where I'm probably worried for Manchester City, because he's the kind of person that gets a bit bored when he's attained a level of success. So if he wins on Saturday, we need to start talking about what is the next move. But then, win or lose, he's achieved a ton of great things for Manchester City. But the gold standard, like you said, is winning the Champions League, and you'll be interested to see if City can do that. And otherwise, if Chelsea can make it to Champions League trophies in their history.
Interesting thoughts there. Finally, just before I let you go, who do you think is going to be the difference maker in the Champions League finals, between Manchester City and Chelsea? Who do you think would be the one that pushes, his team over the line in this one?
It's hard to say because, there's quality on both sides. But Kevin De Bruyne, I think, plays an active role in this. And then it would be nice to see what impact Mason Mount will have in a final of this magnitude. Of course, there are players like Hakim Ziyech who kind of struggled, but somehow have been able to lift, raise their game in critical times for Chelsea. But now the key part will be, I would like to see how Timo Werner exploits Manchester City's highlight. You'll be interested to see that because he's probably one of the strikers that has been caught offside the most this season. So it'll be interesting to see how how it comes up. But I'll be looking at Mason Mount and Kevin De Bruyne and the impact that they can have in this game.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for talking to us today on the show, Yemi Adesanya. I'm sure you're going to be enjoying, that game, come Saturday.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, as always, to join you on the Nutmeg.
An absolute pleasure. So that's all we can take on the show today. Make sure you are glued to your TV screens, enjoying and savoring every bit of that game in the UEFA Champions League finals. I can tell you for free that it is going to be an absolutely exciting game. It's Pep against Tuchel. So what else can you expect from this one, especially if you're a tactical connoisseur in this particular one. So that's all we can take on the show once again. My name is Solomon Fowowe, and this has been The Nutmeg.